It's going down. Welcome everybody. Welcome to the party. Welcome to me always doing the best I can to try to be objective, although people say I'm not. And we will address some of those things at the end of the video. But right now, this particular episode is about giving Max his just due. I have so many Max fans that come on here, and fair play to you. I've definitely criticized you. Oh yeah, no problem. I've had several, fans come on here and say, Max is better than Lewis and all of this other stuff. And that's cool because everybody has their right to have their opinion for their certain driver, right? Like, we should not criticize people for their opinion on supporting a driver both ways. Okay. It doesn't always happen that way. This is a true statement, but Max has done some things that are awesome in Formula One. Like, let's just be honest. Let's just be real. Max, as I've always said, is a talented driver. Max is a talented driver. I mean, that's no dispute to me. Now, other people might say Max is not talented. Other people might say, Max does some pretty, BS things on the track, and that is also true. Two things can be true, right? Max is a bit aggressive. Max has been known to do certain things to earn the nickname. I've never called him Mad Max, but I've heard him called Mad Max. But these things are true. So I'm just going to just keep it real. So we will go over this in sections, okay? We're going to have several sections that we will cover today going into this whole. This is not even a debate. This is not a debate. I'm telling people right now, this is not a debate. All right. This is not a debate. Keep things copacetic. Talk your shit in the chat. Don't personally attack somebody. Don't use racist and sexist epithets. Keep it copacetic. But this is not a debate. Everything I'm going to state is factual. Okay. We should not have a problem giving certain drivers their flowers, should we call it, right? So what's going on, Richard? So first thing we're going to go into is this. What are all athletes, and I do consider drivers athletes, what are all athletes measured by? They're measured by their accomplishments. They're measured by said records that they obtain. They're measured by, even in team sports, championships. That's what drivers, that's what athletes, whether it's football or NFL football, which is American football, or basketball, or hockey, or soccer being the World Cup, everything is measured off of championships when it ultimately comes to being validated, but not solely just championships, right? Championships matter ultimately, but there are other things that do matter. All right. And that's where it comes, where we give Max some of his credit on things that do matter. Yeah, no doubt. So we will cover this in sections. So when it comes to Max and Lewis, I think that there is a very skewed perspective for various reasons on the two juxtaposed. But these things that we will go over will show that Max has been better than Lewis in areas. All right, in areas. And what I'm stating is something that is historical data. Like, these are things Formula One recognizes up on drivers to say that guy is the best or that guy is on his way. So the first thing we will go over is this. We will go into the first matrix, which is championships. All right, championships. As it sits right now, this is undisputable, right? This is not a lie. Max has one championship to Lewis's 7-time world championships. So Max has one championship to Lewis's 7-time world championships. This is not a debate, all right? This is not the only measurable that we will go into. Like I said, there are areas that Max has that he definitely shows better than Lewis, but this is not one of them. So we will address certain narratives. Let's address certain narratives. Certain narratives that I've heard here on the channel is Lewis only has accomplished 7 championships because he's always been in the best car. Well, if you go back and watch the most recent podcast that premiered today, that is not true. If you go back historically, that is not true. That is not always true that Lewis has had the best car. And if you use that as a criticism to discount Lewis on his 7-time world championships that he's accomplished, then you have to also use that for Max on his championship that he accomplished. And why do I say this? This is why I say this. Because if you come to the data metrics, all right, data is the king. Data is king. Like, it really helps you see stuff. Now, if you come here, you see 2015, Max like 12. That's what he was getting. But in 2016, moving forward, Max progressed significantly from 12, 5, 6, 4. It's almost like a damn countdown. Max was doing great. Well, why was Max doing great? Why was Max doing great here? Let's go into his Grand Prix. If we scoot on down this chart, we'll go to 2016 when he improved, but we'll go to 2015 and see what happened. Oh, shit. Wait a minute. Right there. What's going on right there? 2016, Max went from Toro Rosso to Red Bull Racing. Well, that would mean he had to change cars. And he changed teams. So that would mean changing the car and changing your team projected Max into being a better driver? Is that what you want to say? Because if you say that for Lewis Hamilton on 7 world championships, you have to then say it for Max, because there is definitely evidence right here that shows Max went from Toro Rosso to Red Bull Racing 2016, and in no doubt, in fashion, it shows that Max improved from 12th position to 5, 6, 4, 3, 3, 1, and 2 currently. Well, damn. So you can't say something about Lewis Hamilton is only a 7-time world championship because of the car, and then not say that about Max. Now, if I'm going to be fair, y'all got to be fair, right? And we're just in this one subject. We're not in the rest of the subject, so give it time. Max has definitely things that Lewis does not have. So you can't do that. You can't discount. And I know people want to say, hey, the 2021 was a sham. Listen, I'm going to be very honest, transparent. Everybody knows that I agree with that. Also, Alonso, Crashgate, I agree with that. But the fact is, statistically and data-wise, Max does have a championship. Did he get it under normal racing incident circumstances? No, but we're not here to go over that. So, if you don't want to hang on to that with Lewis, because I've seen it several times in the comment section, it's only his car, and it's crazy to think, 7-time world champion. Did anybody say this about Schumacher? Did y'all say this about Schumacher? All right, but give Max his credit. He got 1 championship. We're going to give him that. We should give him his flowers. He got the 1 championship. I also would address this because I'm addressing everything that I've seen in my comment section on this last race that happened, and we're going to address some other things at the end. I have people in my comment section asking me as if it is a poke, as if it is a diss, like it's a diss. What was Lewis Hamilton doing at the age of 24? Max won his championship. Either you don't know or you do know, and you're hoping I don't know, that Lewis Hamilton was already a damn world championship at the age of 24. He already won his championship at the age of 23, which is why he is one of the youngest in Formula One history, next to Vettel by days, at the age of 23 to get his world championship. Max got his at 24. So Max got his age later. Not to mention, I do believe, and I should have did a little bit more research, but I do believe Lewis got his championship earlier than Max got his when entering into his career. Yes, we know Max got in at 17, but Max didn't get his championship till damn near 7 seasons later. This is correct. This is not a debate. This is factual. So when I have people, now we're being fair, right? So when I have people leaving comments saying, what was Lewis Hamilton doing at the age of 24? I mean, he was a world champion at the age of 24. I mean, is that a problem? Like, is it a problem for him to be world champion at the age of 23? By the age of 24, he had already had his championship? This is a fact. This ain't no damn joke. I'm not joking. Now listen, I went and I took all of you all's advisement, and I did a lot of research to just bring this information to be fair and transparent, so we hopefully don't have these disagreements again. Let's go into the next section, because the next section is not. And by the way, everybody that is involved in the super chat and the stickers, VIP boxes still apply to today. I know things might move fast in here, so I might not have a chance to catch it. You do a super chat, I probably will catch it. But let's move into the next section. The next section is a section like, I don't discredit either Lewis or Max for this, because it's kind of like, it's kind of like attendance, right? But attendance means something, because we all know in most sports, especially sports where you can't jump in and out, you're in gameplay all the time. Availability is the best ability. And those who are available and have the ability to sustain over time, it says something. It means something. Although in the grand scheme of other records and other stats, it might not be as glamorous, but there's something to be said about being accountable. So Max does lead Lewis in this section. All right, Max leads Lewis in this section. And this section is actually race entries. Now, I know you're saying like, damn, that don't make sense. You just said Max leads Lewis in this section. How does this so when Lewis has numbers that supersede the largest number on Max's side by 2? Well, it's this. Max leads because he was the youngest driver to start a race. That's why they got him in this record section. They have Max in this record section because he was the youngest driver to start a race. Big shout out to Max. Although I don't think he finished that race. Maybe he did 19th. So, I mean, big whoop, but that's why he's in this record section, because he started the first 17-year-old to start a Formula One race. Something to be said and admired, no doubt. But then let's go over here to Lewis Hamilton. 293 races, consecutive race starts. 293 races with the same engine manufacturer. 181 races with the same constructor. People. All right, now in this section, like I said, I'm not discrediting anybody in this section, but I'm just saying 146, 293, 181. Lewis has been in this game, and he's been very, very available. His ability has been there. Max is in this record section only because he was 17 years old when he lined up in the grid. Cool. No problem. We do have youngest driver records, right? Like Vettel was the youngest driver, is still in Formula One history, to get his championship. But I think it's something to be said because Vettel went on a quadruple repeat. Like Vettel went on like a 4 winning streak. Like that's fucking awesome. Okay, that's awesome. But yeah, now if you keep in mind, right, currently Max is at 146. Okay, 146 entries. So 146, that would roughly put him about 49% covering what Lewis has already done. That's pretty much like halfway there. Halfway there. So keep in mind, halfway there career-wise compared to Lewis Hamilton. Career-wise compared to Lewis Hamilton, Max Verstappen is halfway through his career in comparison. In comparison. Yeah, in comparison, all right? Took Max 7 seasons to get his first championship. All right. And he's the first driver to line up on a grid, which is why he leads in this category, although Lewis Hamilton supersedes that. But like I said, race entries is like something that's said but not blemishing. So let's go to the next section. Let's go to this next section, all right? So we can get to the portion of also giving Max his credit for this. So the next section is race wins. Now, I know for a fact we all value race wins, okay? Race wins mean something. And Max is in this section for a very valid reason up on his race wins to be in this record. Now, keep in mind, these numbers that I have up here on these cards are in correlation to what's in the records. I also will tell you, like, as of right now, where certain areas sit, just so you all don't think I'm throwing shade on either Lewis or Max. So let's go over this race wins. Race wins. Max is only has one in this category. And for this reason, just hold tight. It's not a joke. It's not a trick. He is only in the race wins records of Formula One because he was the youngest racer to win a race, the youngest driver to win a race at the age of 18. That's why he has that one, okay? One. Lewis Hamilton has 103 wins, most in Formula One history. Most in Formula One history. He also then has most wins in the first season of Formula One, in his first season, all right, with 4. You also will come down. Lewis is 8 times most wins in a Grand Prix, which is tied with Schumacher for French Grand Prix and the Hungarian. He also is sitting in comfortable situation with Senna, with most consecutive wins in the 1GP, which is Monaco and the Spanish Grand Prix, at 5. He then, most consecutive seasons with a win, sitting in company with Schumacher, Lewis Hamilton, at 15 times. 15 times. He then, now this is all in one section. This is all in one section that we are talking about race wins. Lewis Hamilton is mentioned this many times as far as holding or sitting with tied records in Formula One history right now in comparison to Max. He also, most wins from pole, 61 times, Lewis Hamilton. All right, now we give him Max his real factual credit. Real factual credit. We give him Max's factual credit. Now, if you don't like what I'm saying, it's only because you don't like the fucking facts. Now, I tried not to drop no F-bomb. I'm saying you must not like facts. Big shout out, Sylvia. Thank you very much. I'm going to take my time to give people that definitely pay homage to the channel their just due. Big shout out, Sylvia. I appreciate you. Now, y'all stick with me because I asked you Max fans to come here so we can all have a conversation. All other driver fans are welcome as well. We're only going over facts. This is not my opinion. This is not my perspective. These are facts. So if you don't like the facts, then you got an entirely different problem. An entirely different problem. We're not talking hypotheticals right now. If you're going to mention hypotheticals in the chat, we're not talking hypotheticals. Don't talk to me about what's going to happen 3 years from now. Don't talk to me about what has not happened yet. Don't talk to me about what you're dreaming about happening. Don't talk to me about what you anticipate happening. We're talking about factual information that says what these drivers have accomplished right now in today's time as given their career right now. Your fictitious imagination does not count for anything. My perspective, my opinion does not account for anything. Factual data is the only thing that counts today. And if you don't like facts, then that's a problem that I cannot help you with. So like I was saying, race wins records right there in front of your face. I'm giving Max his credit, but keep in mind, the race wins are still attributed to Max being in this section because he was only the youngest. Although currently, Max sits at 23 or 24, something like that. That still is not enough to topple the one driver who has the most race wins in Formula One history, which is Lewis Hamilton at 103. We're not talking about podiums. We're not talking about podiums right now. All right, we're talking about first place race wins. I believe this is what this is. So that's what we got. 103, 4, 8, 5, 15, 61 times over to Max's 1. To Max's 1. All right, now we're about to get into a real juicy one. We're about to get into a real juicy one coming up here, okay? We're about to get into a juicy one, so y'all stick with me because we still going because there are other sections in here where, you know, Max does lead Lewis Hamilton. Matter of fact, I don't even think Lewis Hamilton is in the record section and Max is in this section. So like I said, I'm keeping it all the way 100 with you all. If you don't like what I'm saying, it's because you don't like facts and you've been trying to create this mirage and discount a driver who has proven, who has worked to be great, just like Max is working to be great. Max is hoping one day that he can topple Lewis Hamilton. It hasn't happened yet. We're looking at data that says so. Lewis Hamilton had to work his ass off, drive his ass off, and also have a competitive car and team, just like Max needs and he has had in the past few seasons. Red Bull has been improving. Stop trying to act like Red Bull has not been a competitive car, a competitive team. They have. Stop trying to ploy that. Don't do that. Don't do that. Let's just keep it real. It takes a mixture of things for driver and teams to be great. And you trying to act like Max ain't ever had the fastest car. Don't forget, 2021, Red Bull was running away until Mercedes did and made their adjustments, and then Lewis was gapping Max. It happens. This is a part of racing. So why you want to try to heavily discount one driver? Why don't you heavily discount your driver the same? Or the driver that you fancy? Because neither one of us have given Lewis or Max a contract that with our name on it saying that we're the team and they're driving for us. So they're not our drivers. They're drivers that we favor because we like what they've done. And I like greatness. I like Tom Brady because he's great. I like Golden State Warriors because they did great things. I like Michael Jordan because he's done great things. I like LeBron James because currently he's done great things. I like Wayne Gretzky because he's one of the greats. I like Beckham because he's one of the greats. I like Arthur Ashe, Serena Williams because they're the greats. I like Giannis because he's great. Come on now. People like people that are great. Stop trying to ploy the color thing. I literally had somebody in my comment section talking crap like, you only like him because he's black, which I'm going to get to some of these comments that caught up in the filters when we get done with some of these real facts. But let's get back to the facts. Let's get back to the facts. So the next section that we're going to go into are pole position record section, driver pole positions, okay? Now in this section right here, driver pole positions. You have 0 for Max. That does not mean Max does not have pole positions. It means he has not accomplished enough to be in this record section as of breaking the records that they have stated are set as of yet. So he is 0. He has 0 records are broken or held in this section. Lewis, on the other hand, has 103 pole positions, the most pole positions in Formula One history. He also sits tied or in good company with Senna and Schumacher for most pole positions in one Grand Prix, with San Marino, the Japan, and Australia. Okay, so listen to me. Listen to me. Lewis Hamilton sits in company with Senna and Schumacher. Are any of you wanting to discount Senna and Schumacher's records that they currently hold 8 times over in these Grand Prix? I just want to know that. Because if you're not, then I know you're not discounting Lewis Hamilton. And if you are, you need to be very honest about why you're trying to discount a factual thing that he has accomplished, just like Senna, just like Schumacher, to be mentioned in world records of Formula One for the most pole positions. In one, he is not tied. He is unrivaled. He has the most, hands down. We can see it right here on the graphic. 103 and 8 times for Australia. That is what he has. Now, let's do this. Like I said, I'm going to keep it transparent and real. Max, although not mentioned in this record section, Max does have some pole positions. We just keeping this real. Do not try to get in here and talk about age. I just told you, Max is 50% through his career compared to Lewis. Even if you want to talk about, hey, we're talking about when you entered the sport, what have you done for me lately? Don't give me the age shit, because then y'all want to try to use Max's age to pump up what he's done. You can't then try to come back and use Max's age to try to grade on a curve of what he hasn't done. You can only have it one way. If you want to try to use Max's age in one way to say, oh, well, he's done it, he's the youngest, and it's great, you can't then come back on the floor and say, well, he's only 18 or his age, so he needs more time. No, I'm not letting you do that. And if you're doing that, you're full of shit. You're full of caca, and we're not here for that. We're here for real data, real information in real time. Don't do that. That's where you're unfair, and that's why I'm calling you all out on this, because I went into this to see for myself, did I miss something? I went and did this research to see, am I not giving Max his full credit that he is due based off actual facts? Did I miss something? Well, I'm bringing you the facts, so we not discounting nothing. As I said before, Max is 50% through his career compared to Lewis. He has that much longer to accomplish what Lewis has, and I'm not saying that Max can't do it. I'm not saying that. I actually, unlike some of you all, I'm hoping that he does it, because records are made to be broken. If records just set and they were never broke, that would be pretty shameful on the evolution of the human race. And also pretty shameful on the athletes that enter a sport. That would tell us that nobody is getting better. What then would we have to look forward to? If nobody's getting better, why are we watching something that is not progressing? That sounds kind of like some other topics in the world, but we won't get into that. Big Ben Xbox, big appreciate that. He says Max is a good driver, but not on the level of Lewis. Let's just be honest. What records do Max have that Lewis does not? Not many, I would say. And guess what, Ben? That's what we're going over right now. We're going over actual records so everybody can be on the same page as to what is real and what is your imagination. Let me give you your shout out. Because after this, I got to go work on a custom car. So let's get to this. All right. The next thing we have coming up. Now, there it is, pole position records. Now, like I said, Max has 14 currently. And you can, I mean, what? Like, okay, what? No, nobody want to believe that? Max got 14 currently. 14. That's where he's sitting as far as it comes to the records, okay? 14. Now, remember, he's 50% through his career. He got, compared to Lewis, we don't know how long Max will go. We talking about compared to Lewis. We're using real data and matrix information. But yes, that's where he sits right now. So the next thing we're going to go into, the next section that we're going into, is something that I know I like. Because I like fast. We watch racing because it's fast, right? We want to see cars go fast. We want to see drivers drive on the brink. So we're going to talk about fastest laps. The fastest laps, the driver fastest laps records, okay? Let's go over this. Let's see what they both have. Fastest laps. Here is where Max exceeds Lewis Hamilton in the records. In the records. Max exceeds Lewis Hamilton in the records by one record that he holds in this section. Max holds a record in this section. Lewis does not. Now, why does Max hold this record? It says right here, youngest driver to conduct a fastest lap. It actually says youngest driver fastest lap, but I don't like the way that reads. But youngest driver to get a fastest lap. That's why he's in here at the age of 19. Max was the youngest driver at Brazilian Grand Prix to get a fastest lap. Are you not starting to see a pattern so far? I'll bring it close to you at the end on facts when we get to the end. But Max is in this record section. Lewis is not. He holds a record for being the youngest driver to collect the fastest lap. Meanwhile, also, Max currently has 18 DHL fastest laps. Okay, so he doesn't only have one. He's only in the records because he was the youngest to get a fastest lap, but he has more than that. Right here, it's right there. You see that? 18. He's got 18. Well, Lewis Hamilton, how many does he have? He has 59 DHL fastest laps. 59. That's a fact. That is a fact. So although Max has a record in the fastest lap section because he was the youngest at 19 years of age and 44 days going, he still has less fastest laps than Lewis Hamilton overall. Lewis Hamilton has 59. You could multiply Max's number by 3 and you still would not get more than 59. If I'm not, I know at least by 2. I will do it just for shits and giggle. 54. So he still, if you multiplied Max's fastest laps by 3, he still would not have more than Lewis Hamilton at 59 currently. Like we said, Max, in comparison to Lewis's career, is 50% through. So he got some time. He's got some time. Given that Mercedes, I'm not going to say that because we're not talking about hypotheticals. We're talking about factual data. 59, right there, okay? 59. So in that section, Max leads Lewis because he does hold a record in that section for being the youngest driver to get one DHL fastest lap. One. All right. So let's go on to our next one. Now, our next category is a big one. Our next category, big. Oh, yeah. Nah, trust me, I ain't tripping about none of that. Y'all complain and whine all you want. I'm going to tell y'all like this. Me and my team, we had a meeting. You will be allowed to talk your shit. You will be allowed to use the nicknames Lulu because I use Crash Strapping and Crash Tiffy. You will be allowed to do that without being timed out or banned. Trust that. You will be allowed to talk shit up on Lewis if you're not using racism, just like I will not accept people using racism remarks against Max or any other driver. I won't accept it. You will be allowed to stay in the chat given you're not attacking anybody with sexual comments or you're not degrading somebody. We had a meeting. We getting better, so don't start crying and whining about shit up in the chat. Talk your shit. Matter of fact, be borderline disrespectful like Crash Strapping. I use it all the time. You're not guilty for saying Lulu. You're not guilty for saying Lulu. I'll let it do it. We talking about real facts right now. Oh, we got a super chat. Let's see. Big shout out first to Raul. He says, I'm not sure why Max is getting so much headlines when Vettel has fourth. Did I not mention that title? Matter of fact, let me give you your props first. And then listen, I know this is about Max and Hamilton, but we're going to give Vettel his props too. Let me give you your props. Raul, big shout out. I talked about this earlier, right? It is so damn great. Vettel went 4 times back to back while being the youngest to first and still do it. Lewis Hamilton and he both got him at the age of 23, but Vettel was days younger. All right. So big shout out to you for that. Thanks for the super chat. Your points will go towards your VIP box. Let's get back to this stat. So the next stat is a big one, because this is where races are won and lost. Podium records. We going into podium records. Let's get to it, shall we? Podium records. Both Max and Lewis are in this section. And here you go. Now listen, I did my just due. Okay, listen, don't blame me. I did my just due. I put an X on Max's so it looks similar to Lewis's, so it wouldn't be tainted or it wouldn't be devalued. So I put an X. That's not a numerical value. That's an X to say times. Okay. Max has 18 podium finishes in one season. That's why he's in this record section. So this is one record that's not attributed to Max just being the youngest. This is, to me, a legitimate record off of real hard work. He has 18 podium finishes in one season. That's great. Yo, that is a great stat. That's awesome. I commend that big time. He has 18 podium finishes in one season. Now, can anybody in the chat tell me what season they think that was that Max had the most podiums in one season? Can anybody in the chat perhaps tell me what season that may have been? 2018, 2017? Do you think 2020? What season do you think that is? Anybody? I will tell you. That is the 2021 season. He had the most podium wins in 2021. So then also Max has another record in this section of podium finishes. He was the youngest to score a podium. At the age of 18, 228 days and going in the Spanish Grand Prix. He was the youngest. One podium because he was 18, and that's why he's got that record. Meanwhile, on the other side, Lewis has 183. Now, I didn't put the X there because then it would have been like 4 digits and it would have looked a lot bigger than Max's. I didn't want to do that. I didn't want this to be a swinging contest. 183 podium finishes. This is the most in Formula One history. Formula One history. In all of Formula One conceived, Lewis Hamilton has the most, 183. Do y'all discount that? So do we still, after we're here today, to be transparent, to be honest about what is real and what is not real, what is fake and what is not fake, what is hypothetical and what is actually legitimate? Are we still trying to discount Lewis Hamilton being one of the greatest Formula One drivers? Are you still doing that? And if you're still doing that at this point, after going through several pages of real Formula One statistics and data, why are you doing it? Tell me, why are you doing it? I would like to know, because it purely cannot be off of real accomplishments. It cannot be off of real driving talent, because we know Lewis has been talented since he's been driving damn RC cars. We know this. So why are you discounting Lewis? Why are you disrespecting Lewis? And if you're disrespecting Lewis, then you would be disrespecting Schumacher and Senna and all the other greats that came before Lewis got here and he toppled those records. You're disrespecting all of those drivers as well. You cannot disrespect Lewis also while not futurely disrespecting Max, because Max is working to get where Lewis is already. Max is working to hopefully debunk or topple the records that not only Lewis, but Senna, not only Senna, but Schumacher. All of these great drivers have already set. So you're disrespecting Max in the same tone that you're trying to disrespect Lewis. So I ask you, why are you doing that? Why are you saying Lewis is not one of the greatest drivers opinionally, when you know factually, and it can be proven to you factually, that he is? I would like to know that. Just tell me in the chat why you're doing it, because evidently I went into this research hoping to find out why you believe what you believe, and I have not found that out yet, although I'm still here to give Max his flowers and his credit. So let's bring that graphic up. 183 to Max's 18 in 2021. He does have the most to score podium wins in one season, in a season. All right? That's big. The most podium finishes in one season. That's some great shit to do. I'm being dead serious when I say that. That is great to do. He holds that record just under Lewis Hamilton for having the most podium finishes in Formula One history at 183. Once again, that one record is tied to just being the youngest. All right. Now, currently, just to be transparent and real, currently, Max does have 63, and we know this. You should know this. If you don't, then you don't need to be talking shit in the chat. Max does currently have 63 podium finishes when in comparison to the most in Formula One history. He has 63, all right? Now, if I'm not mistaken, 63, 63 times 2 is only 126. Max would have to triple that to beat Lewis Hamilton. He would have to triple what he currently has at 63 to beat Lewis Hamilton's record and have 189. If he tripled that, he would just pip out, which y'all think I don't know what pip means. I know what pip means, like pipe and pip, I know it. But some of you are not clue to what I do to excite you. But yeah, he would have to do 3 times over to get Lewis's record in order to have 189, to pip him out by 6. That's what he would have to do. That's not hypothetical. That's not hearsay. That's factual mathematical data. He would have to do 3 times over what Lewis Hamilton has already done to have his 183 to topple Lewis. Once again, this is a fact. All right. Currently, Max has 63. We saw that, right? We saw that post. If you had to see that post to know that, hey, everybody's at different levels. But 63 is a far long way from 183. But remember, Max still does have 50% more of his career left in comparison to Lewis to get that record, if he's going to get it. So the next record that we're going to go to, which is an important one, all right? Let me make sure nobody put a super chat, because I see one. Oh, we got a super chat. The R2 Tech super chat bangs it out 2 times over. Let me give you your props. 2 times over. I appreciate you much. I appreciate the super chats. I appreciate the love. Big shout out to you. We're going to keep this thing rolling. Big shout out. Listen, you also have earned your points towards your VIP box. Hopefully you get yours soon. This one is Sylvia's. Sylvia will be getting her VIP box. Racing 210 will get their VIP boxes. So let's go to the next section, which is another good section. All right, and Max is also in this section too. He's also listed in this record section as well as Lewis Hamilton. Okay, so we will go ahead. Like I said, I'm here to give Max his credit. I'm giving Max his credit based off real facts. So in this section is driver points. Driver points record. Max has one record that he holds in this section. And what is that record? The youngest driver to score points at the age of 17. I'm just saying, y'all see a pattern? When we get to the end, I would like you to tell me how many records off of facts does Max hold by being just the youngest to line up on the grid and accomplish said things, though. Just tell me how many that is. You should start seeing a pattern. But he is the youngest driver to collect points in a Formula One race at the age of what? 18 years old. No, 17 years old. Meanwhile, Lewis has the most in Formula One history, most race finishes with points at 253. He also holds another record in this section, the most consecutive point finishes at 54 races. I mean, what is going on? What is going on? I get all this hate in the chat. I get all this and that. I'm taking my hat off because I ain't capping. I'm taking my hat off because I'm not capping. These are facts that I'm finding. And I'm trying to legitimate why you all do the disrespectful things, not the other things. Like the other things as far as, repping your driver, I'm not discounting that. You should be able to do that. I'm talking about all the dirt you're trying to throw on Lewis Hamilton, although they're the third team on the grid. Top five still, even with a subpar car, top five. Like, there's 20 cars on the grid, they top five. That's a fact, and people acting like they trash. You know what I do know? I got a question for y'all. First off, Calvin, let me give you your props, Calvin. I got a question for y'all. I'm going to ask y'all a big time question. Big props to Calvin for that super. Let me see what you said, sir. I don't want to miss what you said. Let me see what Calvin said, and I'm going to ask y'all a question. I want to know. Calvin says, Wolf, these people hate change, just as they hate change with the 44th president. Yo, 44th president, who was that? Is that Lewis Hamilton's car number? 44. Oh, it was Barack Obama. That's right. The first black president in United States history. Given some things that you could find out if you do your history research. Max not in Formula One. He and his fans in Formula One milk. Fans in Formula One milk. I will say this, and I'm going to be very fair. I have had conversation with people that are fans of Max, and it has went fine. Although they rep their driver, they disagree with me, I disagree with them. It goes fine. It's only the people, and I'm not even calling y'all fans. It's the people that use the derogatory words towards Lewis. And I ain't talking about Lulu, because Lulu was a cartoon character who was a female. So even if I wanted to go deep, you would be demasculating Lewis Hamilton by calling him a female's name. Crash Strapping is not a female name. Although Maxi Pad, is something that could be attributed to a female, because if you're a man, you're probably not wearing a maxi pad. So I will give you that one, calling him maxi pad, calling him crash strapping, calling him Verstappen, which I have. But I don't demasculate, Max, but the maxi pad one, you could probably take that one. Okay, so I'll take credit for that one. But that's why I'm saying you can give Lulu in the chat. It's just the N-word. I'm not going to allow you to call Lewis the N-word or myself or anybody else and skate with it, which I saw. And I will get to that at the end of this live. So let's go to the next section. The next section, which is very important, just as anything else. No, actually, it's not that important. It's just that it's in the record section, so it means something, right? And this is the last, it means something. So let's just go over it because we can get it done real quick. This one is race leader, all right? Max, let's do Max first. Max first, because this is about giving him his credit and his just due. Max holds one record in this section, as well as Lewis, because Max was the youngest driver to lead a race at the Spanish Grand Prix. All right. They give Max the opportunity to sit in this race, Formula One records holding section, because he was the youngest to lead a race at the age of 18. That's why he's in this section. Kudos to Max. Lewis is in this section for 5.396 laps as a race leader, all right? Now, I want you to think about this. I want you to think about this, and I want you to take this to the bank and cash it. Out of all these pages of data, let's see how many records Max holds that are not attributed to his youngest. If you notice, the 2016 Spanish Grand Prix pops up a lot in the race wins section for the youngest racer, 2016 Grand Prix. In the podium section, 2016 Spanish Grand Prix, youngest driver to score a podium. Also in the leader section, 2016 Grand Prix. Simultaneously, Max obtained 3 of the records that hold in these sections for only being the youngest. Also in 2 other records, he holds for only being the youngest. Max holds 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 records in comparison to Buck Dollars, Tokyo is Porto. Buck Dollars, let me give you your shout out, bro. Don't worry, I'm not going to lose my place. Big shot to Buck Dollars. Hey, big shout out. Appreciate you, Buck. Hey, so listen. In comparison to Lewis's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. I count 16 records that Lewis holds in Formula One history. To Max's, in case you didn't get that count, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6. I got 6. All right, I got 6. Now, keep in mind, how many of those are attributed to just him being the youngest? Well, the record in podiums, the youngest driver. The record in points record, youngest driver. The race leader record, youngest driver. The fastest lap, youngest driver. The entry records, youngest driver. The race wins, youngest driver. He got those for being the youngest driver. I don't discount that, but I'm just saying that's why he's in there. Not because he accomplished an amount that would put him in that section, just because he was 17 when he started and he happened to do these things before he hit 19, 20, and he got those records. That's why he's in there. So right now, I want people to tell me, why in the hell would you discount Lewis Hamilton? Pages of real factual data that he has accomplished in Formula One history, not because he's the youngest. Formula One history. He's accomplished and toppled all the other great records. He sits tied with Schumacher and Senna and several other records, but he's there in company with Senna and Schumacher. Are you telling me they ain't great? And Lewis, they ain't great. They great, right? So why the hell you trying to say Lewis Hamilton ain't great? I could probably guess, but I'm not going to guess because that's hypothetical. But I've known what some of you have said in the chat. Oh, yeah, I know. And we going to talk about that. So let's talk about this. I'm going to tell y'all, the last time we had a live, it was some shit talking in there, which was cool. And it was some shit talking in there that wasn't. I saw, and also I will send a shout out to K20 because I went back and watched the live chat. He talked shit fairly. He was harping on Lewis, and hey, it was fair. That's fair game. Me and my team talked about this. We're going to let y'all do that. That's cool that y'all should be able to do that. But it was a lot of racist shit that was caught in the filters. The N-word in reference to Lewis and in reference to me. You damn right, Sylvia. You damn right. You cannot discount greatness. But for some reason, people are discounting greatness, but without discounting other people. You can no longer say that it was only the car with Lewis when we clearly see there's an evident change to Max when he changed cars in the 2016 season. That shit's over. You better quit using that excuse. But this is what I'm going to say, because this is a real important thing. I saw those racial ass comments called in my filter section while people talk about racism is not in Formula One. That's fake. Y'all always trying to pull the race card. Ain't nobody racist. I saw the N word in there. I saw people calling me the N word in there that was caught in the filters. I saw people using the N word in reference to Lewis Hamilton caught in the filters. But let me tell you something else that was more egregious. Somebody had the goddamn audacity to try to refer to one of my team members as if she was a goddamn animal by saying, put her on the damn leash. Let me tell you some shit. I don't do that. We talk about human beings, and you talk about putting them on a leash like they're an animal. Oh yeah, we beyond these stats. I'm going to tell your ass like this. You will soon find yourself knocking on a door that will be unanswered when it comes to Wolfpack performance. Everybody else, come here and talk your shit. Come here and, hey, talk your shit against Lewis Hamilton. That's cool. Use Lulu. That's cool. Talk Lewis. And even after this, after I done spit real facts, you feel free to talk your hypothetical situations. That's cool. But I'm not going to tolerate you calling me the N-word, calling Lewis the N-word, calling anybody the N-word in my section, calling somebody else, whether they black, white, Spanish, Brazilian, Hawaiian, calling anybody something else racial. I'm not going to tolerate that. I'm not going to tolerate you, and I know who you are. I wrote your names down. I'm not going to tolerate you, but I'm not going to say your name because I'm not going to give you that luxurious, like we was giving Max all his credit. I'm not going to give you your credit. I'm not going to tolerate you telling me that I should put one of my team members on a leash like she's a goddamn dog. You got me fucked up out here. Now, y'all can say, man, when you cuss, it makes you look bad. Hey, this is my channel. This is how I run it. Until Sky Sports, Formula One, some other broadcasting station picks me up, the FCC don't regulate this. When they do, trust me, I'm well educated and well endowed to speak fluently without the use of cuss words when I feel like it, even while being heatedly passionate. I can do that. See this hat? I can do that. Why? Because I'm educated and I'm very versatile and I'm talented at what I do. I'm talented at what I do. So yes, just like I could not cuss I respect people that ask me not to do that. And I do go to lengths to try not to do that because certain kids watch the show. But at the same time, this is my show. This is my channel. These are my perspectives coupled with facts, and I respect your perspectives coupled with facts and not. So some of these people will find themselves knocking at a door that will soon go unanswered. I won't miss you. Trust that. I won't. I got enough great people that debate, disagree, or agree with me here. Enough great people that represent Vettel, that represent Lando, that represent Stroll, that represent Daniel, that represent Perez, that represent Max, that represent Lewis, that represent Russell, that represent Bottas, that represent Guangzhou Yu. I got all them. Represent Albon, represent Crash Latifi. I'm not going to use his nickname. We're going to keep it legit. Latifi. Represent Alonso. Represent Ocon. Even if you want to go to Piastri. Even if you want to go, hey, we can go on. We can keep going. You think I sit here and when I'm not on this camera, I'm not doing research or doing studying? Formula One is a part of my everyday life. You all are a part of that life as well. And if we're going to do so, we have family members that don't always agree. We don't always have to agree, and sometimes we might fight, but we don't cross the line in which we cannot cross back. I will not promote that. So I'm glad everybody came here. Let's take a quick overview of these records because we giving Max his props. We giving Max his credit for things he accomplished in Formula One in comparison to Lewis Hamilton as well. We damn sure got to give Lewis Hamilton his credit on everything he's done in Formula One. So let's take a look over here. Let's take a small recap. Championships. It is 7 times world championship Lewis Hamilton to Max Verstappen's 1 championship. We're not going to say anything about it being suspect. He has a championship. Next, driver entries. 1 to 146 to Lewis Hamilton's 293, 293, 181. Next, driver race wins records. Max has 1 in this section, while Lewis Hamilton holds several records in this section at 103, 4, 8 times over, 5 times over, 15 times over, 61 times over. Next, driver pole position records. Max has 0 in this section, while Lewis holds 103 and 8 times over in this section. Driver fastest lap records. Max holds 1 in this section, while Lewis Hamilton holds 0 records in this section. By the way, if you want to know who does hold a record in this section, it is Schumacher at 77, I believe. I can't find it on here, but I'm pretty sure it's 77. That's a tall order. Schumacher was great. Driver podium records. Max holds 18 to 1, while Lewis Hamilton holds 183. No, on Max's side, that's not a math equation. I put the X there to, make it look like it held 3 spaces to Lewis's 183. I was trying to do my best to be fair. Driver points records. Max holds 1 in this section, while Lewis holds 2 at a 253 and 54. Race leader records. Max holds 1. Lewis also holds 1 with 5.39. So there you go. There you go. There goes the factual data. There goes what you should know and maybe what you don't know. So now I just want to know, do you really have a legitimate reason to discredit, disrespect, and discount Lewis damn Hamilton, Sir Lewis Hamilton, over Max Verstappen, other than you just like Max because maybe you're from that country, maybe you like Max because you identify him, because there's nothing wrong with that. Like if you identify with Max, identifying with something to then appropriate and parallel yourself with it is normal. That's human nature. You should not be disrespected for that, right? That is what it is. But I just would like to say, why is Lewis not great, but you think Max is? Because if you think Max is great, then you must think goddamn Lewis Hamilton is like a god or something. Gotta be a god. You gotta if you think Max is great, then Lewis Hamilton, by statistical data, he gotta be a god. So listen, I got a car that I'm building, and I took time to stop building that car to be here live with you all so we can go over that. So anytime further in the future that somebody says something crazy in the chat, just refer them to this video. Maybe they don't know, maybe they don't know. Maybe they listen like right-hand wing radio. They listen to right wing radio and they just believe every damn thing they say. It might be like that. We got to be fair. Some people are ignorant to real facts. And if they're ignorant to real facts, it's only cool for us to educate them. Just like me, I'm not knowledgeable of everything. I'm ignorant in some places, but that's why I do my research. That's why I do research oftentimes. That's why I do research. That's why I do research. Damn it, people. You think I just sit here on this damn show and I don't do nothing? You must be out your damn mind. Y'all crazy. You got me screwed up. Oh my goodness. Woosah. 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 And I didn't even wear my Crash Strapping shirt. So give me some damn credit for that. All right. You know what we say. You see the shirt, right? Just build it. I appreciate y'all. Thanks for coming. About to go finish building up on my car. I will see y'all for the quality kickback next week when we go into Spain live. We also will be here for the finale lap post the Spain race live. Feel free. Everybody come. All fans, all drivers, all teams alike, come to the channel. All colors, all creeds, all walks of life, come to the channel. Just leave that racism shit and that sexist shit at the door and you cool with me. All right? Whew. Peace. I'm out of here.